Welcome to European Journeys. This is the introduction to a new series of journeys which will begin from our next episode. And for these journeys we will explore events that happened in the 16th century. You might have guessed already what I'm talking about. Yes, we are talking about the Reformation. Now, the great heroes of the Reformation are well known. We talk obviously about Martin Luther, John Calvin, Ulrich Zwingli, John Knox, and many others. And if we want to explore lands that talk about the Reformation, well, the best lands to explore obviously are Germany, Switzerland, even Great Britain, the Netherlands, or the Scandinavian nations. But for this series, we are not going to talk about any of the names I've mentioned, and we are not going to explore any of the lands that I also just mentioned. Because in fact we are going to explore a specific Reformation that is also widely unknown. And I'm talking about the Livonian Reformation. That is the Reformation that happened in Livonia. Now Livonia, if you look at a modern map, you will not find a country called Livonia. In fact, Livonia corresponds today to modern-day Latvia and Estonia, roughly. And it is a Reformation that happened around the same years as the Reformation that began in Germany with Martin Luther. It in fact flows from the Reformation that began with Martin Luther. But it took a specific shape in Livonia. Now, why is that? Well, this is because even though Livonia was part of the German Empire, what was called the Holy Roman Empire, there was a specific political system there. And we're going to talk a bit more about that from our next episode. But that political system had began to generate a level of systemic injustices that was at its climax at the beginning of the 16th century. And moreover, even though it was a professed Christian land, the word of God was not preached in the churches. So as you can see, the stage was set for much needed change to happen, and by God's grace it did happen. And that was the beginning of the Reformation in Livonia, which began in fact a bit more than 500 years ago in 1522. Now for this Reformation, the names that triggered the Reformation in Livonia are widely unknown today, but these names are Andreas Knopken, for example, Johannes Lochmüller, or Melchior Hoffmann, just to mention a few of them. We'll see more names even through our next episodes. And in fact, we could clearly say that today Estonia and Latvia would not exist as nations, as the nations they are today, if that Reformation did not begin in the 16th century. So it is worth exploring that Reformation, and I hope you join us from our next episode to discover the Reformation in Livonia. I'm Cedric Placentino. See you next week for our first stage of this new series of European Journeys.